Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Turn the Page, and we're turning pages, and we're into a new chapter on January 22nd. And I am with Louis Hanshaw, who is in Dubai, of all places in the world that you could be. Welcome, Louis. How are you doing?
Hi, Janine. Thanks for having me. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, we are in the desert in Dubai. It's like this oasis of technology and luxury in the desert. It's quite incredible. The kids were ice skating today. That's how crazy it is. The kids went ice skating in Dubai Mall, which is the biggest mall you can imagine. Everything's super expensive, so I was being really careful not to buy anything. But the kids they wanted to go ice skating in the mall, and they were on the ice skates for about an hour and a half, and that was like €80. So was that $90? 95 dollars or something like that for two kids just to go ice skating for an hour and a half.
Wow. Well,
So
first of all, Dubai is you're in the desert, and they have that down here in the Gulf Shores also too. But I think they just turned off the ice skating rink, which is ironic because I don't know if you've heard. I know you've been traveling, but I'm in the Gulf Shores. It's the hottest. It's down south. It's southern state, right? Where it's
mhm.
hot and humid. We got 8 inches of snow yesterday. It doesn't ever happen. At
Wow.
130 years, something is going on. But yeah, I get that where you're at, for them to bring in and then freeze up the place for you to go ice skating, they're going to charge a lot of money for something like that. It's so unique, and your kids must be loving it because they were just so much in the hot weather.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the temperature's really nice here. It's just right. It's just right. It's like 25. Oh, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but for 25 Celsius, it's really nice. It's a bit windy today, but yeah, we're having a great time. So I just wanted to say huge congratulations to you guys, by the way, to the world really, for the very successful inauguration. There's theories all over the place with regards to like the hand on the Bible. In fact, I was just talking to Christina. I was giving her a recap. She said, "Oh, did you see that he didn't put his hand on the Bible?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, okay. I've been there. It's
So
either, yeah,
you saw that he didn't put his hand. He just had his hand up like this, right?
yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
And of course, you've got to give these things some breathing space to you can't just go jumping to, oh well, he's a Satanist or anything like that. It doesn't work. You do get some people that do that, but it's much more effective to just kind of think, well, okay, what have we been watching? Have we been watching a show? Are we watching continuity of government? Um, so I said to Christina, I said it's like it's either he's already done it on Air Force One or something like that, or in a military base, and that's just a double because they already moved the where it was going to be to inside, so it's not outside, so it's probably a film studio or something like that because we're watching a show. It depends how far down the rabbit hole you are as to what you can accept. Or the other one is he never left, and you can't be sworn if he was sworn in 4 years ago because of the continuation, then you can't be sworn in three times as president. So that's another thing. So there's a whole mixture of all of these things. But what, as I understand, he's a wartime president from 2 terms ago, and if
It,
anything,
look, read
uh,
read down below what
yeah,
Colleen.
yeah, yeah, correct, yeah, okay. Assignees again. Also, this as well. On top of all of that, Assignees not taking an oath to the corporation. Lots of references to funeral, like the death of the corporation. I mean, Melania's outfit was very somber, um, like very. She means business and like game over for the corporation. That's what I take from that. So yes, Colin, very good, very good. So potentially he's already been signed in as the 19th president of the Constitutional Republic. I hope I'm getting all this right. But
Yeah.
there was been so much to unpack. I was fortunate enough when the inauguration took place. I was cooking, and we were cooking in Dubai, and we sat down and had dinner watching it. And I never allow the TV or a screen on while we're having dinner, but I put it on because it was historic, and we were all just like, yes, yes, like all of the points that came out, like, wow, he's really just coming out flying. And I think the kids are always going to remember that as well. It's just that's when we saw the real healing and some real ass kicking began at that moment. So I'm super excited for the world, really, but especially you guys over there.
Well, yeah, and I'm actually happy for the world myself. I can't say it's just America. It's the whole world, and everybody is really going to benefit from it. So I did a show with the inauguration or him being sworn in, and and I was making fun of all the people, all the reptiles that were walking in, right? And
Mm.
it felt very gloomy, and he had the face like, and then as soon as he got out of there, it went to do another speech. I don't know where he was at, in another hall. His disposition totally changed. He said the energies in there were so heavy. I don't know how much you've got to see of it, but it was almost like 24 hours here of every ball, every
Mm.
band that was playing. It was a huge celebration. And then in the meantime, he's signing away executive orders, 200 of them.
Yeah,
The man doesn't
200.
stop.
200. Wow. Okay, so Grox let me down. I asked him to list the bullet points of all the executive orders. He only gave me a few. He didn't give you 200. Um,
I saw that too. I don't know why. So before we jump to that, I wanted to show this
mm,
real quickly, if I could speak. This is the anniversary of our fearless leader, and this is coming from Baron Trump. It says, "Happy anniversary, President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump." I don't know if this is a true Baron, whatever. It's got a blue check mark, but it says, "Today we honor and celebrate the incredible bond you share, a partnership rooted in strength, love, and unwavering patriotism. Your commitment to each other and to our great nation has inspired millions of Americans, reminding us all what it is meant to fight for freedom, protect our values, and stand tall in the face of adversity." So, yeah, I didn't even know it was their anniversary. This is actually the first time I heard of this on this date for them.
uh, let me just verify that. I can verify that. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, Lori's is out here saying that. I think it's kind of jumbled
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's the 20th anniversary of Donald and Melania Trump. They were married on January 22nd, 2005 in Palm Beach, Florida. Okay.
Well, Mar-Largo is. I can't say it. Mar-Largo. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's exciting to know. Yeah, so with all those executive orders, you know what? I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. I think they've already been signed. I think they've already been in place. I personally feel that because it's all moving so fast, so quickly. It's all a done deal. Some of the videos I see out there, even my husband made a comment that, like at the border where they're gathering up all the people, there's a libtard network station out there that is basically saying they kicked out all the immigrants and they don't know where to go. They turned off apparently, and I just found this out, is they actually had an app for their phone to let them know when they could come into the country, where they have to go, how much money they will get. And apparently when Trump was sworn in, the whole website was taken down, and they're standing out there. What about my children? Where do we go? We need money. Like, it's not our fault. And then of course you're going to get the libtards. They're going to, their brains are going to melt on that type of information.
Did you see? I think it's potentially a classic bit of trolling on the span. You know, when you can change website, you can change the language of various websites. Well, the Spanish version of the White House website, it has a 404 error. So that's in web design term. Well, you know what that means. Okay, so the 404 error means that page isn't there, and that is redirected to the 404 page, and it says this page cannot be found, and then in the box there's
Sorry.
there's a button and it says go home. So you can take that, because in web design terms you would just probably say home or back or whatever, but the way it just says go home, it was hilarious if you have the capacity for that humor on that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's funny. Yeah, turn back around, right? This is what class is in every country. I'm sure is their leaders are going to start to be like this. I'm very proud. I really am proud.
It's yeah, it's a shining example for the rest of the world.
And then everybody and anybody's going to read into every outfit that she is wearing and what it says and what pin she's got around her neck. And you know what? I at this point, that's okay if people want to code, decode, whatever you want to call it, try to figure it out. But I'm even starting to put comments out on X of saying that's kind of a stretch, don't you think? You're trying to connect the dots to something that really isn't logical, but it's how people are thinking, but it's their thinking. That's the cue there.
Mm. Did you see that shot there from above, the camera above there with that, the camera shooting right down on the seal, above the seal? That was an incredible shot. Just, I've never seen anything like that before, with them dancing from the top.
Oh, okay. We'll get a chance to see it again. Yeah. Yeah. So this is really cool stuff. The main. So did you get a list of the executive orders? And I
Well,
think
okay,
one
so
of them. Go ahead.
before we came on, we were just a couple of minutes before we came on, you said that your YouTube seems to be behaving a bit better than it has before. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do
So what happened was I was on YouTube and Rumble, two stations on YouTube, two channels, I should say. And I have, when I share my screen, it went to RSBN, where they were showing the inauguration and everything like that. YouTube didn't like that. I couldn't show YouTube's of somebody airing, him being sworn in and everything, because it would have been a copyright. So I went to RSBN. That apparently is a copyright for YouTube. They took me down after 15 minutes. I think Buckshot was the one that told me, hey, Janine, your channels are down. I said, okay. An hour later, I got a notification. And usually I'll say, okay, whatever. I'll go through the school bullshit. They'll say, you got another strike. I got to live with it for 90 days. And then all of a sudden I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to dispute it. And it came back as your dispute was granted. And they gave me back the channels. And I said, what happened here?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just asked Grok if there's been any executive orders with regards to censorship on social media, and I can share that with you now, actually, if you want.
Yeah, I just want to show you. This is what you were referencing here. This
No.
beautiful shot with them dancing.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. What an incredible shot.
Yeah. Okay, let me stop sharing and I'll let you share. And let me bring you back.
I've just put that in the private chat, the Grok request that I put up.
Okay, let me grab that. And open up another
because it
browser.
was quite relevant to what happened to you and your channel.
And let's see if I can present this. Oh, I keep doing this. Okay, apparently I've got to reshare it. So 1 second. Well, it keeps showing this other. Let me get rid of this one here. There we go. I got to reshare it. 1 second. Okay, Grok community. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it too well, but do you want to read it, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, I'll read it out. So, yes, there have been executive orders related to social media censorship. On the January 20th, 2025, President Donald Trump issued an executive order titled Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship. This order explicitly aims to prevent federal censorship of American citizens' speech on online platforms. It bans federal officials from any conduct that would unconstitutionally abridge free speech and instructs the Attorney General to investigate previous government actions that might have infringed on free speech rights under the guise of combating misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. So, what this says to me, if there's been any bad actors in government that are putting pressure on the platforms like YouTube or Facebook, we know Facebook's been really, really bad for it. But if they're now prevented from doing that with this executive order, then we might start to see a lot more freedom on YouTube, for example. So you disputed the strike on your channel. They took a look at it and said, "Oh, okay, yeah, we got to give the channel back." Maybe, if that is the end of this nonsense, or it starts to, if this ship is starting to turn in the right direction, it might take a while before we're really getting that transparency, and before everyone's really able to say what they want on YouTube, because YouTube's been really one of the worst. It could have been such a powerful platform for dissemination of the truth, but at the same time, it's been a powerful demonstration of censorship, I think, and it's something that people have had to come to terms with, because everyone thought, wow, China is censorship. China. We don't have that. We have freedom of speech. Turns out we didn't. Anyway, so I thought I'd share that because that was really relevant. So the executive orders, that list that I sent over, there's so much in there to unpack. But there was one which I didn't send.
Did you send him in an email? I didn't grab it, and I can't open my email.
I can try and shall I try and share a window? Let me see if I can do this. Aha.
Yeah, my email for some reason eats up a lot of memory. Here, let me remove this other one. Let me stop sharing. I think I got to stop. Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay, can you see this?
There you go.
All right. So President Trump's executive order that proclaims that there are only two genders also recognizes that human life begins at conception. So female means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the large reproductive cell, and male means a person belonging at conception to the sex that produces the small reproductive cell. So they're saying male and female begin at conception, which I think is quite an important.
It's already causing a lot of controversy here in the United States. I don't know if you've heard.
Okay.
Everybody's got their different opinion of when conception actually starts, but I don't know. Maybe they need to do sex education classes again.
So I thought, because I didn't hear anything about that until I saw that literally about an hour before we came on.
Let me see if I have that bookmark. Yeah. So there are people out there, the far left liberals, whatever, they're losing their minds right now. And I won't look for it, but I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So is that you, Gork?
That's me. Yeah. I've just put up that other. This is quite helpful. This sharing screen business. I'll try and do that more often. Okay, so my best online friend Grok, who helps me out a lot with my information, he's given me a summary of some of the key executive orders signed by Donald Trump since starting his second term. So we've got first up here, J6 pardons.
So the update here in the United States is, and I haven't looked at that one, but as of that night, they were releasing people. They were taking people out that were hospitalized, which I didn't know that many of them were sick. and there were Washington, D.C., District of Columbia policemen were not allowing them out after midnight. They stopped it. So they basically said, we're not going to listen to Trump. They stay in jail because if you understand how DC operates, they have their own laws of the land. It's kind of like London, right?
Yeah.
And so I haven't gotten an update. If anybody in the chat out there has got an update to whether or not they've all been released, let me know. But they're basically, going back and saying Trump doesn't tell us what to do.
Yeah, there's so much with the whole J6 situation.
I think there's more than we've been told or been educated on. Obviously it starts with Pelosi and then the shit rolls down the hill. So something else must be coming out around her. That's all that I could say.
Yeah, and the shaman, America's shaman, Jake. Well, some people call him Admiral. He refers to himself as Admiral Angeli from the U.S. Navy. He's an admiral in the Navy, apparently. He put out a lot of informational videos when he first came on the scene, and I watched all of them. Talking about Tesla, hidden technology, patents for faster than light travel, free energy, the TR-3B, triangular UAPs that the Navy has, all that kind of stuff. That he was there filming everything, apparently, as an insider, as an agent, filming everything, getting all the evidence. There's so much in that whole event, and I think the military like to do these events that accomplish multiple things, and I think it showed the levels to which the deep state would go to try and disrupt the presidency, or to impeach Trump. In fact, sorry. So yeah, that was a good time now to get some closure on that one, so we can move forward.
Hold up. There's a comment down below by Lori's. Is basically saying heard that they are all released, and you'll be surprised to see who they are. I don't know. Nick Oliver apparently, I don't know what happened to him. I stopped following him. He kind of went away. People were attacking him, saying that he was an agent for the deep state. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just repeating what I seen out on X. But who do you guys think that they are? There was one gentleman that was out of Arkansas. They finally let him go. He's the one that sat at Pelosi's desk and put his feet up. There's something out on X that he was released. 4 or 5 years of him sitting in jail for sitting at a desk. It's just insanity. Colleen is basically making a statement out there, said, I heard that they were being released into the cold with a few bucks in a bus ticket. Not good. Yeah, that's what they do when you leave jail. They give you a bus ticket, and sometimes they don't even give you money.
Okay, next one. Withdraw from the WHO. Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're on our wavelength, and we know like the pandemic responses, you need a centralized control system to enforce these rules and to take away freedoms using health as an excuse to steal power. And the WHO was a prime example of that, if not the most
allegedly
example. Allegedly, yes. Sorry, allegedly. I think we've seen enough. We've seen enough. But again, there's something that I wanted to. It was a bit of a revelation, literally about half an hour ago, that I had, because we're starting to see a lot of these exposure operations, I like to call it, Oh, I've
It
seen it
wouldn't
being
happen to
called.
be the three guys. I call them the Three Stooges that are basically coming out and saying it was Larry from Oracle, the guy from, I don't know, he had a Japanese name, and then Sam Altman. All the billionaires are basically coming out and saying we're gonna be able to find cancer in your blood, and they have AI to determine that. And I just think that right now, it was Oracle Larry Ellison. It made the claim. He's all over. I'm not buying into the story just yet, even though Trump put him on. I believe Trump is going to expose them. There's also another story out there that Tucker Carlson did with Sam Altman, that there was something very, very nefarious that happened, and a young man got killed over it around the AI. So if you guys start to put this together, Tucker Carlson brought this woman on and said, hey, they killed my son. And he is blatantly saying, yes, your son was murdered based upon the evidence that I could tell what you presented to me. Now Trump brings these three guys forward that are billionaires. One was running Oracle, which ran the world of, data in AI. And the other one is Sam Altman, who was basically stealing and copywriting AI. And then the third one, I don't know who that third guy is, a little Japanese guy, but people are saying he's not any good. So I'm going to wait and see before I make judgment on any of this. I'm going to shelve the information for now, but it's big, Lewis. It's big.
Yeah, and I think it's allowing conversation to happen across a few different industries, especially when they're bringing up cancer, they're bringing up mRNA, they're bringing up AI, and even the whole open AI, which Sam Altman's the head of. I don't know if it's CEO. I forget the exact relationship with Sam with OpenAI, but the creation of these controversial conversations, which I think is something that Trump does an awful lot. He puts people in the spotlight that are controversial. What was that? Dr. Oz. That was another one. And everyone, see what it creates is it creates conversation underneath all of the news articles, all of the tweets, all the posts on X. And what happens is underneath you've got all the people sharing their truth about it. You've got all the people sharing their truth. Hang on a second, he's this bad guy and he did this. And I just had this revelation. It's like when you buy something on Amazon, what do? You read the reviews. You read the reviews because you're reading people's truth that they're sharing about their experience with this product. And I think what he's doing with creating all these exposure scenarios, he's allowing the conversation to happen underneath the media, the photo or the media clip that we get. And everyone's underneath sharing their truth.
Yeah, it's running under radar if you think about it. It is running under radar, and it's up to people to try to figure this out. Now, I follow all the people that I think that I'm aligned with that are good people out there. So if they're putting a story out there a week before Trump puts this out about AI and there's nefarious things going on, we have to sit back and wait for more proof, more data, more information. What do you think?
I agree. I agree because it's counterintuitive what's happening. These things that we're like, hang on a second, but I thought mRNA is bad. I thought, well, just a lot of these things that Trump tends to do. Oh, I thought this guy was bad. Why has he appointed this guy a position in the cabinet? And then all of a sudden, oh, okay, like what happened with Vivek? He was going to be chair with Doge. He was going to co-chair with Elon.
So, Lewis, I don't want to divert too far away from the executive orders. We can come back to it, but this is so important right here. So, out on X, and I don't know if Colleen follows X or not, but her thoughts were there was either about exposing the corrupt healthcare system or a nod to the med beds. Now, that is the exact conversation that's happening out on X. People are saying it's a little bit of a conflict again because med beds was based upon so-called truthers saying it was based upon vibration and frequencies. That's what med beds were going to be built upon, the technology. Now, if these guys, these three baboons are coming out and they're basically saying it's all going to be built off of AI. This is going to confuse the hell out of people, and that's what's happening out on X. They're like, wait a second, is AI going to be the med beds? It's something that I would say I'm going to shelve for now. I'm going to observe but not absorb, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. And Colleen's saying she doesn't follow X. Colleen, it's almost like you are. I'm not sure where you're getting your information or who you might be getting it from or following, but I think they're following X because that's what's happening out there. One other statement, and I'll get back to Lewis here. Amazon sells quantum diagnosis in a minute. Just put your finger on it. Yes, there is that technology that's out there already, and they're doing it for diabetics. We are living in such an exciting time right now. We're going to go from the old wheel to fast and furious technology in the medical arena. It is going to happen overnight, and it basically don't blink is what I'm trying to say, because if you blink, you're going to miss something. And this is what's happening right now. We're talking quantum physics is definitely coming into play a lot more than it ever has. But let me tell you this. I'm not sure where I heard it, but I heard it. They said this technologies that we're going to be seeing has been around for a long time. It's just been hidden from us. And back to Lewis.
Yeah, and just this whole AI thing, I think is it's a really convenient way to introduce, because like I say, they like to accomplish many things with these operations, whether it's an exposure operation to point a spotlight on the corruption, but also this new Stargate AI could say, oh, we thought we were going to use mRNA to cure cancer, but I've discovered this other thing.
Yes.
And it could be a really convenient way to say, oh, look, this AI has found this other solution, rather than the difficult conversation, which is we've had this stuff for however long, the deep state's kept it from you or whatever, because that's not a conversation that everyone's ready for. So it's much easier, I think. It's much more palatable. Oh, this super AI has found this thing. Should we do it? Ta-da!
Yeah, it's given us the hook to say, wait a second, what are they talking about? You've got my attention. So when the truth does come out, we'll know. Okay, we'll be aware. It's just being aware. That's all this is: being aware and being awake at this particular time on January 22nd of different information that's out there, but we don't know the details. We don't know the cruxes of everything, but we will soon enough. Let me just see here what Laura has to say, and then I'll get back to Lewis's thought there. Blood work can go to clinics. Nope, just give them your finger in a complete analysis. So I believe what Laura is saying, that you can basically do this stuff at home at some point. You're not going to need a doctor's appointment, 100 tests being run where they keep getting richer and richer. Aware to be awake is what she's saying. What do you think, Lewis?
Yeah, I think there's so much happening at such a fast pace, and we've been wide awake to a lot of it from years ago. It's going to be a lot to catch up. There's a lot to catch up on for people that are still going through that procedure.
I want to just show this real quickly. I know that we only got a little bit of time left with you here, but this is welcome to the free state of Florida. This is all the snow that's there, Lewis. It's crazy. It is really crazy. So this is Governor Ron DeSantis. It never snows, and I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I'm real close to this welcome to Florida sign here. This is like when you cross over from Florida to Alabama. I'm within 20 minutes from there. 130 years that it's been that it snowed like this. 130 years. Anybody have any thoughts why this is happening? Louisiana, one of the hottest places on this planet, along with Texas. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Panhandle have all gotten this much snow. 8 inches.
I'm guessing that's keeping people at home for the most part.
Yes, it is. Nobody is, especially where I'm at, nobody's moved their cars for like 2 days. And it is crazy. I just wanted to share that with people, just get them updated. It's all over. It's all over like the internet and stuff like that.
Well, I'd hesitate a guess that it's not just the bad guys that have been using weather manipulation. You know, the good guys use it when they've got things to accomplish that they don't want people to see or be involved in.
So
So
Colleen is out of Chicago area, Chicagoland area. She's in a suburb out there. She said they haven't even gotten that much snow, and that's where it's supposed to snow. And we're getting all the snow down here. It's going to be gone in a couple of days. I think in 2 days it'll be 60 degrees. It'll be gone. But to me, it almost felt like it's a cleansing or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just Mother Nature all pissed off.
all right, should we carry on?
Carry
I've
on.
got, do I need to reshare it again? No, you got it. You got it. Right. So, ending birthright citizenship. An executive order has been issued to deny citizenship to children born to undocumented immigrants in the US, challenging the traditional interpretation of the 14th Amendment. This is highly controversial and likely to face legal challenges. Touching on topics of immigration, citizenship rights, and constitutional interpretation. I mean, a lot of the argument from the left, a lot of this is very controversial, particularly with regards to this issue. It's almost as big as the gender declaration. So I'm not as close to this as you are. Do you have anything to say on this one?
On the immigration aspect of it?
Yeah.
I think it's been going on for a long time. This is just my thought. And I think that they've been moving them out for a while. I think there's a lot of video out there that is not current live data. And they're just letting us, they're just trying to give us that feel good feeling to remove them. Now, I don't live in the blue states where supposedly they were put. Now, the latest news story that I actually heard is that we're going into Chicago. Again, Chicago popped up. I happen to be originally from the Chicagoland area. And apparently, you know, they're asking for help at this time. And they will be rounded up and just given back to where they came from. It should be that way. I just think that they've been tracking them all along. You know, we're in an information warfare. This is information. They track everyone. You've got a phone, they're going to track you. They got satellites, they're going to track you, right? You've got Elon, they're going to track you.
Right, next one. We've got revoking and establishing policies on gender and diversity. Okay, so I think we had the protecting women in sports, protecting women in safe spaces, changing rooms, toilets, etc., as well as the statement that there's only two genders and that the government will only treat reality as such.
Isn't that really sad that it's got to be an executive order to basically get the people flying straight, that there's only a male and a female. And you know, he's not saying anything against if you're gay, if you're a lesbian, nothing to do that, but he's just reinstating that there are two sexes, you know. And if you want to go to another planet, there might be more, but here on Earth, this is where it's happening. Go ahead.
And it's, you know, it's tragic because it's an issue that was weaponized, and it was weaponized with deep programming and social, almost torture in a way, for people that were struggling with identity in the first place, and then to have that weaponized against you, and you know, a whole industry sprung up to tell you, no, this is what you should do, this is what's going on with you, you're a man trapped inside a woman's body, like this, the institutional shepherding down a very dangerous route, especially when you're talking about the surgery. You know, it was a whole system weaponized against these people. So it's tragic, but we have to turn it around, and that's step one, is just draw the line in the sand, and that's it. There's only two, and now we can try and fix it and give the people the help that they need, whether it's medical, mental, financial. You know, there's been a lot of programming with some very unfortunate people, and a lot of these people that are detransitioning some of the stories are heartbreaking. Never being able to function sexually ever again, and they were sold a lie by an institution, by a bunch of corrupt people, I would say, allegedly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
What
that's good
Bailey?
to move on from that one. Border security and immigration, we kind of touched on that. Several orders have been signed to address border security, including reinstating the Remain in Mexico policy. These actions will be pivotal for conversations on immigration policy, border control, and national security. Okay, so we spoke about that already. Now, environment and economic policies. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accord. Didn't that happen already?
Yeah.
Like 8 years ago?
Yeah, I
We
believe it
did that,
did.
and then Biden put you guys straight back in again. If
I
I
do want
recall
to talk
correctly.
about this one here for a second, kind of going back what you were talking about. This is I'm not sure when this came out, but it basically saying that Trump has announced that all military members who were discharged for refusing the COVID mandate will be reinstated and receive full back pay. I think this is a couple of days old, but somebody put it out there again, along with a formal apology from the United States of a government. There were a lot of them that were kicked out and lost their benefits, and this is great. So if anybody at home knows of somebody, let them know. I'm not sure where you got to go to find this out, but I'm sure that if you want to get back into the United States services, to the military, this is what you're going to have to look into. Back to you.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's a bit of common sense. I mean, I'd like to think that they were somehow contacted earlier and maybe employed in some way, shape, or form, maybe covertly. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? For the people that were awake enough to refuse it. It wouldn't surprise me if they got a secret phone call to say, "Hey, we're doing this other thing. Do you want to help?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Next, we've got federal workforce changes, hiring freeze, and return to office. Okay. So this is where the Doge comes in. This is where Elon Musk's, the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, so starting with the hiring freeze and returning to office to get everyone to return to the office for in-person work for federal employees. These could be discussed in terms of government efficiency, employee rights, and public service during times of change. So no more freeloading, 1 day a week, 1 day a month, federal employees. Similar kind of thing happens in Spain, actually. There's a lot of government employees that don't do an awful lot, and it's very hard for them to get fired. So good to see that they're starting with the government efficiency on day one. I think that's going to be one of the most interesting developments moving forwards with this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen 95% reduction in government. We've seen figures like that over the last 4 or 5 years. And if that's really going to happen, how is it going to happen? Is it going to be with the use of things like AI, robotics, potentially? I don't know. There must be lots of the dirty jobs like garbage collection and things like that robotics will be able to take place of.
Right.
I mean, I'm not talking about, that's not federal work there, is it? But
there's going to be a lot of fear, and I've seen it on my channel before where people are saying, I don't want a robot coming up to me and serving me food. That the ambience of that is just, not appealing to them. I get that. I totally do. I don't want us to lose the humanness behind a lot of customer service type of thing. But things like you're talking about, if they could even get a robot to drive a truck, because nowadays out here, nobody gets out of the truck and picks it up. It's just another robotic arm that grabs the can and puts it in the back of the truck. It's all could be automated. I think people will be okay with that. We're not moving so fast with the Jetson area, if you will, but we will be there at some point. Like you said, there will be jobs that nobody wants to do, and there'll be more jobs opening up. I think that's the whole promise. You want to go to school to be a network engineer. You want to go to school just to be a physicist. Those are the type of things that will open up for people. They want people to think. They want people to be brains, behind their thoughts. And it's just going to be a whole new world. And I think everybody should be excited about this.
Yeah, and that really does open up the conversation about universal basic income, which is a really interesting one because with a lot of these conversations that we have, it looks like, oh, it could be the new world order, or depending on who's running it, it could be something a bit more utopian. And this universal basic income is exactly one of those where, well, what are we gonna do for jobs? How are we gonna get money? And then, well, okay, you can have universal basic income because we shouldn't have to work like any other animal on the planet doesn't have to work to pay money to live, but we do. So we just have to make sure that it's not attached to a social credit system. And if you disagree with the government, you don't get your universal basic income. So it might
Yeah,
look,
I
it
think
might
there's
look
going to
like
be
that.
less government. I don't know where you're at and how much government makes decisions for everything. I was starting to feel like government was, so what Trump is basically doing is he's allowing the states to go back and make the decisions. So if you live in one state and you don't like what they're saying, move to another state. It's not going to be the government is going to oversee it. It's wherever you're living, though. I was
Mm.
starting to feel in the healthcare industry, they were getting a little bit too Armstrong. You walk in there, you tell them, my stomach doesn't feel good. Okay, well, you need 15 tests, and then you got to come back to me and constantly take all these. I kind of felt like they took away all my rights about my body, my mind, my soul. And that's why I think a lot of other people felt that way too. And then they basically say, here you go, take all these things here and take them 3 times a day and come back and let us know how you're feeling. It was so ugly. And I might be exaggerating it at that point, but the only thing that I will use healthcare industries for is testing. And then
Mm.
after that, it's up to me to decide which way I want to go with it. If I have high blood pressure, I'll go find an herb, that type of thing.
Can you highlight that? There we go. That comment. I was just going to say that comment from 11 Melisande 11. In Spain, it's awful. Yeah. So it's one of the reasons I'm in Dubai because Spain, uh, if you get a speeding ticket and or a speeding fine, if it wasn't you or you try and pay it and their database is down and you can't pay it for whatever reason, this happened to me. A year goes by. Uh, the Spanish government took 1,500 euros out of my bank account, like just like that. I had to get a lawyer involved, and he said, "Look, it's going to cost you more money to get a lawyer to dispute this than to just pay it." And they just take it. He said, "What you can do is you just have to try and negotiate with them and do a payment plan." And that was in the end the best way forward financially because it could have cost 3 or 4 thousand euros to dispute the government just taking money out of my bank account. So in Dubai, and the people I'm talking to here, they're like, "What? How can that be? We don't ever give the government any access to any of our bank records. Certainly, that they wouldn't have the ability to just take money out of our bank account. Like it's unheard of. Like they're really quite surprised." So
Well, that's
one of the
that's
reasons,
the whole banking. Everybody is saying banking is corrupt and everything else, and so the whole financial system rework. I think that's what everybody's waiting for. We heard the Sarah Gacera there, where everything was just going to flip a switch as soon as Trump got in there. None of it happened, but there are other things that are happening. We're just not there
mm,
yet, and in the meantime, we've got to utilize what we have into place. But we just got to be smart about it. Take
yeah,
your damn cash out and put it in your mattress, just like they used to do before there were banks. If you're not happy,
mm. But like what you said about the states, if you don't like what's happening in one state, then you can move. And I think it's the same thing with the countries in the world, because countries that we can't flip everything at the same time. I think countries are going in order. As if there's this global alliance, this global military alliance that's working together, I think it's going America first. I really think it's America first to set the shining example. I think the UK might be pretty soon afterwards, because the exposure operation with Keir Starmer and the rest of the corrupt officials in the UK government is happening at the moment. So we're having to be smart. We had the whole issue with homeschooling in Spain, and that is not okay there. So we've had to think fast, and we've had to be light on our feet, and get out of Spain. And you have to do what you can with the knowledge, and that's what we have. Is we have the knowledge, and we have to be forewarned and forearmed to be able to make the decisions to do what's right for us and our families as we're protecting our children. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's one
what
of the
Mary
reasons I'm
is
out of Spain.
saying here, I call her Mary. She told me that's her real name because I can never pronounce her handle. But it takes us full circle what we were saying about the 3 billionaires that were out there, right? They're going to they're talking about that they've got technology and AI and an MRI that can find against cancer and digital medical records and all this other stuff. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm not banking on this information as of yet. I won't put any hope into any of this because if you've done your research, let me just say this to people. Go and look up these 3 gentlemen. Look at what they've done. And they're all out of California, I believe. So that's the first clue, first blue clue. Then take a look at Tucker Carlson interviewing various people about these 3 gentlemen. And then come back to me and tell me if you're still on board with what Trump is doing. He's putting a spotlight on the cockroaches. And that's where I'm going to stand on this one.
I almost think that we had a flurry of space. It was almost like a space race, because Jeff Bezos did, a trip to space, and I don't know if there was a lot of. It kind of looked ridiculous, the shape of the rocket. There's a lot of things that look fake with a lot of the space films, a lot of the footage, and it seems to be a conversation that's being gradually pushed out into the public to examine very, very carefully. Mice running around a rocket that's supposedly doing hundreds of miles an hour.
What's the name of the program again that he talked about with the guys? Space something.
Stargate.
Stargate. That's it. I gotta write that down.
Stargate, which was a very popular. There was a massive film. There was a series, and it was all this wonderful technology. So it's like it's been almost abused in a way, that naming convention, because they're putting mRNA, cancer vaccines, and these Silicon Valley billionaires that are kind of the modern day Dr. Evil, aren't they?
So your croak, is that how you pronounce it? Basically says Donald Trump announced Project Stargate, a $500 billion initiative to invest in American AI infrastructure, which has sparked significant discussions on X. The project involves a joint venture between OpenAI, Oracle, which is basically in my world back in my working days was a big database, and a very sophisticated one in SoftBank. So all these are planned to start with data centers in Texas, which I didn't know that was going to happen in Texas. So the initiative aims to create over 100,000 American jobs, which is great to hear. It described the largest AI infrastructure project in American history. You're looking for a job, Lewis, come to Texas. Key figures like Sam Altman from OpenAI, Larry Ellison from Oracle, and Masayoshi Son from SoftBank were present at the announcement. It looked so uncomfortable for me. I felt uncomfortable watching that interview. Did you see it, Lewis?
No, but I've seen a lot of conversation about it, and I've got a really great, Ariel. I've got a great post on Ariel. I've got it loaded up if you want to flick to my.
Yeah, so we could talk about that another time, but a lot of people are to sum it all up as saying, yeah, they just want to inject you with mRNA vaccines, means necessary. I people are the libtards are going to be flipping their wigs over this
Mm,
because they're not going to be able to grasp the concept of how he brings them into the spotlight and he gives them attention, and then we find out more information. Then everyone says, why does Trump do that? I don't understand.
mm.
It'll be interesting to watch this unfold. Go ahead, Lewis. We've got
There's
I'm not sure. How long do you have, Lewis?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
I'm unlimited. Unlimited, like the energy. There's Laurie's has put a comment up there. Key is the free energy, which is another one of these, I think, exposure operations that's kind of nested within another exposure operation, because you've got things like the MH370 scenario, where the plane went missing. And then there's whistleblowers talking about the orbs that were spinning around the plane, and that it got like zapped out of from where it was to a like portal to something else, and what was powering these orbs, and it all comes down to free energy, or this 0 point energy. So, and it's pointing to really that the government has had access to it, and that's a very difficult conversation to have. Because if you're saying that, well, the government has had access to it, well, what else have they had access to, and why have they been keeping it from us, and all that kind of stuff? And it's a very difficult, complicated, multifaceted conversation to have. So another one of these exposure operations with free energy, and we're going to carry on. Oh, there's been lots of whistleblowers now talking. There's like a new flurry of whistleblowers talking about all sorts of stuff with regards to UFOs, UAPs. I saw one this morning that was about like an alien type saying that their species got involved because we were genetically created to serve. Was it the Anunnaki? I don't know. And we were sort of the Neanderthal species was created to serve, and then we got freed, we got liberated from that, and genetically modified, and it's just so much stuff coming out, and it's really really far out. But I think they exist, or they start spreading this information on social media, so we can start to absorb and determine what seems right to us and what seems not so right.
Yeah.
But there's
Well, let's see if we could analyze this a little bit, Lewis. So Joe M out on X says, do we really want to go full ahead speed with AI? He's basically saying, and let real Donald Trump know how you feel after his Stargate announcement yesterday with the creepy guy who wants us all to take an mRNA vaccine for cancer. Why would we when we know, I'm not going to mention this other stuff, but it's the three things that you talk about a lot.
yeah.
But yeah, so basically he puts out here, and now it's tying back to the World Economic Forum. So this is interesting because we pulled away from the WHO, right? Is that the same thing? World Economic Forum in whatever. So
Yeah,
if you trust a politician, pardon?
Sorry, it's just there on the financial side as opposed to the health side. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, are we going to do anything with the World Economic Forum? I'm waiting for that information to come up also too. Can our artificial intelligence AI help with our? Well, this is just a bunch of questions that somebody put, the World Economic Forum put out there, but it all ties together. So either we pull apart from one part or we pull apart from all of it. And I'm very conflicted right now about this AI stuff. That's why I'm going to sit back and just shelve it. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah. But if you notice, we've already been given the crumbs of information before, or more so with regards to those three anti-cancer things that we've been talking about. There's been a lot of distribution of information about that before this came out. So we've all been forewarned, and we've been given the ammunition to counter it already, and to have the conversations in the threads, like I said earlier on, to provide the Amazon style reviews to give newcomers to this information. We're giving them the information, we're giving them the little bite-sized bits of truth, which is far more powerful than, I think, if Trump turned around and said, by the way, mRNA is bad, or by the way, AI is potentially bad, by the way, whatever. So we've got these conversations, thousands and thousands of conversations happening underneath, which should be triggering and the discernment of the viewer, of the reader, into, oh yeah, that sounds true, that sounds true, that sounds true. It gives us the opportunity to be that discussion. We are the media now, like has been said in the drops, and Elon has said as well. We are the media, and we are the Amazon review, the star ratings of information now, as we have this conversation underneath the thread. So I think it's very important, guys. If you see something that you have an important comment about, to put it on X or wherever, TikTok or whatever, because it's those little interactions that people read, and they will base their opinion, or they'll be able to pick up on the truth embedded with your comments. I think especially as we go on and vibrational shifts increase and people just get more tuned into the truth, it's more important than ever, to have these
Yeah.
conversations underneath.
Yeah, definitely. So I just think what's happening right now, if I could just wrap this particular segment up about that, and we can get, as we learn more and go through this, he's just going to show us. He's just going to, he's not going to be able, if he were to come out and tell us something, we wouldn't listen to it. So he puts them up there. They're part of the show. They probably got, they probably got caught doing something and said, hey, you make these videos, because it just looked really awkward yesterday. They were on the podium and they faced him. It wasn't like they were talking to a group of people out there. And that's the feeling that I got. So maybe that's what he's doing, is he's going to expose them, or it'll go in a different direction. But I just don't, I'm not taking it at face value. All right. Yeah. And Colleen's got a great point here. Do you really want them changing your DNA? Really? That's brilliant. It was too obvious, right, Colleen?
I think just a final thought from me with regards to all these things is, maybe everyone thought that this administration was going to be a free lunch, that he was going to come back in, but we remember what happened last time. It wasn't. We had to make very difficult decisions, especially with regards to that, and it wasn't comfortable. So I think we're all being given the opportunity for growth and for to take personal responsibility for what we think and what we do with our bodies and with our minds and our families and our finances, and to not expect a free lunch when it comes to this administration. But we're going to be given a lot of information, but it's up to us to put it to use.
Yeah. So yeah, people are basically saying they want the truth and transparency, but you give people the truth and transparency. It's just like what the question I asked, I think the last time you were on the show, or maybe it was Joey G, I can't remember, is what do you do when you show someone the truth, tell them the truth, and they still believe the lies? You basically have to, you basically got to play it out for them. It's everything is a movie to everybody, and unfortunately, that's the way it goes. Let's see, it's getting really sunny out here, so I'm getting lighter and lighter in my picture. We've got sun back today, and I didn't close one window, so that's why I'm looking pretty white. Let's see what people are saying out here, and then if you wanted to add to go to a different subject matter or continue that. So there's going to be so many more executive orders. We started out talking about the executive orders that have been signed. MJ is in the house. Want to say hello to her. Mayday is in the house. Hello, Mayday. Mayday's been tired of the lies. I'm not kidding you. She's been saying this for years. AO is basically saying the slow unbrainwashed. Yeah, definitely. And there's still a lot of network news stations out there. Like I was talking about earlier, they were at the border. They're showing this family, this woman, this obese woman with all of her children, and they looked like they were having a big luncheon, at the gates, because they were supposedly showing that they got kicked out, and they're crying, "Let us back in. We don't have the app anymore. We don't know what's going on. When you took away our money." And I'm like, hit the road, Jack.
Well, should we just quickly wrap up the EOs? Because my grok has only got one more in
Yeah.
its basket. It sort of grouped them together. There was only one more, and it said others. Naming changes. Directors like renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America and restoring the name Mount McKinley for what was known as Denali, which could serve as a lighter yet symbolic point of discussion, national identity, and historical reverence. Now, I knew about the Gulf of Mexico. I'm not too sure about. I don't know much about this Mount McKinley. Can you shed any light on that one?
I think that was the one that was a Native American name or something like they took away. I don't recall it, and I apologize. It's something I didn't follow, but the libtards out there are livid that we're actually changing the Gulf of Mexico. They said, "How can you do that? That he's claiming the land. It doesn't. It's got nothing to do. I live down by the Gulf of Mexico. This is where I am at." But we all have to call it the Gulf. We don't call it the ocean. If you call it the ocean, you're not considered from here. So we just call it Gulf Shores, right? Or we call it the Gulf. But what difference does it make about the name? There's something else. If you ever look at a map, you basically be able to see all the water encompasses America and it encompasses Mexico. And people are talking about, yeah, well, that's where we want to drill, so we're going to claim it back as ours. I don't believe that's the truth. I believe that there's something else. So Lorius is also saying that here too. Drill in our Gulf of America. I don't know. I think there's more to that. Speaking of the Panhandle and everything else, if anybody has ever been to Destin, Florida, I wanted to show this one more time. Destin, Florida is got all the snow down there, as I do. And this is crazy. This is just so crazy. Destin, Florida, if you guys don't know, it has some of the most beautiful water, white beaches. That snow is, you can't tell that there's sand under there with the snow. Most beautiful emerald water that is there. And yeah, so this is what's happening here. It's 15 degrees here, Lewis. This is unheard of.
Wow.
It's totally unheard of. So, all right. I digressed again, and yeah.
And we've also got
I said the same thing. This is not climate change. The planet is melting. Yeah, I put that in your head. What happened? Did somebody turn something on, turn something off? I don't know. And so we're already far over. We're so far over into Florida when I start showing Destin, and then there's PCB, which is another beach there, right? There's snow went straight across the Panhandle to the opposite end of the state. You go any further south, nobody got it. It's just all upper Florida. Yeah, and people are saying the good guys did it. People are saying the bad guys did it. You know what? I'm just saying it's Mother Nature at this point. I appreciate it because I was missing Chicago and I missed the snow and I got it. All right, what do you got?
Either way, with regards to whoever is doing it, it's causing a conversation in the threads, in the comments, and it's highlighting a lot of these issues. If people have never come across the concept of weather manipulation, I'm sure they'll find a thread with someone talking about weather manipulation. And it's amazing what can start to trigger someone to start doing their own research with regards to that kind of thing. And then we've also got Panama, the Panama Canal, which Grok hasn't listed here, but the Panama Canal, I see that to be quite an important one. There's been a lot of pushback on that one from Panama.
There was a lot of pushback. There was so much pushback. And it all depends on the generation that's pushing back on this. You got the baby boomers saying, yeah, it was ours. We built it. It was our blood, sweat, and tears. We gave the money for it. We built it. It was an agreement that happened, many years ago. And then you got a president that gave it away and sold it for $1, and then China took it over. Well, it's almost like a tug of war, and that's what people are complaining about. Is it's not ours. But all I could say is people go and look it up, research it. make the determination. Decide for yourself.
Mm.
Bailey,
There's sorry.
sorry, my dog is dreaming, and I can't tell if you can hear that right now, but she's very loud and she's right next to me. Bailey, wake up.
The other thing that I've been paying a lot of attention to is there's been a bit of a crossover with politics and crypto. There's been a lot of discussion about, so Trump launched or the official Trump meme coin was launched, and I don't know how much he's got to do with that project in particular, or whether he's got another company that he's working with that's taking control of that. I don't know if it's another exposure operation, because what happened is the Solana network, which the Trump coin and I believe the Melania coin was launched on, and the network couldn't handle the amount of traffic that was created with the popularity of these meme coins. The Solana network kind of ground to a halt, and Tether, which you may or may not have heard. I think we've spoken about Tether. It lost its peg. Instead of being worth $1, it was worth like 80 cents, and that's really really bad news. Like for a stable coin to be worth less than $1 if it's representing $1. So that happened, and I don't know if this is another exposure operation, like I said. So a lot of people made a lot of money, but people that have bought in late to these coins have lost money. So, and our favorite ex celebrity John Denver parody. Uh,
What
he's
are your thoughts on that? Who is that guy? I think I saw a picture of him once. It
I
was a really old man, but it could have been bullshit.
I don't know. I don't know. I hold many possibilities in my consciousness as being possible, and I don't discount anything. I think that Gene Ho might be Bruce Lee, for example, as one of the possibilities. But I just don't know. I mean, these things sound so far out, but they still exist as a possibility. If you've got
He's too young. I had a table right next to him when he was selling all of his books, and I was right next to him. And I observed the guy. He was kind of distant. He wasn't really social. My husband asked to pick up one of his books just to see what it was, because we were trying to determine whether or not to buy it. And he went. I mean, so here we were right next to him. Everybody ignored our table. He was selling his books like hotcakes. Nice man, though, very focused on business. As soon as he went out to his car, got another big box of books. As soon as he sold that, he was gone. He wasn't there. He was there. A lot of times when you do these events like that, you stick around and you talk to the other members. He was there to sell his books and get the hell out of there. I don't know. Maybe he is somebody important, and I don't know that. But very nice guy. We took pictures with him and everything like that.
mm,
I think he's too young though, unless he's found the fountain of youth.
I think if we're talking about medical tech, I don't just it's not that stretch of the imagination to think that there's some kind of age regression. I don't think that that's that much of a stretch to think that some people have had age regression. Some people have had time travel. We've even had discussions about time travel. It could be a younger version. Who knows? This thing is very very far out, and I don't discount much. I don't discount much because it's hard to know who's good, who's bad, um, and who's telling the truth and who isn't, because we're in a psychological war, and that's it. And I realized that a long time ago. So I think the most intelligent thing to do is to let things play out and hold multiple possibilities. Yeah, you have your favorite outcome, because that's the one you're trying to manifest, and but also entertain the idea that other things are possible. And I think that's quite an intelligent way to do things with regards to what we're all going through. Oh yeah, we haven't even seen the beginning of this, you know. this guy's got some. He's going to hit the ground running as well. I think we had all the crypto people were very disappointed that there haven't been these sweeping statements that's going to destroy the banking system and we're going to come out with something new. I don't think it's going to happen quite like that, but we're going to get an upgrade, I think. But people are disappointed that it's not happened on day one or day two. I'm holding out hope that there's going to be a big important executive order that's going to get rid of some of the SEC decision and also the medical stuff. Again, it's quite delicate, the medical stuff, because we don't want people saying, oh, by the way, we've been injecting you with poison for however long. But they're starting with fluoride and the conversation about vaccines, that not saying that they're all dangerous, but they all need safety studies, and the safety studies haven't really happened.
Yeah. So this picture here says it all for me. I don't know about for anybody else, but yeah, it's, if all of this is still going around, people aren't buying into a lot of that. And let's see what else we have out here.
I wonder how many of the YouTube keywords I've triggered with what I've been talking about today.
We'll find out in about an hour.
Yeah.
That's how long it takes the AI to figure it out. Or, apparently I wasn't the only one taken down. I was told that by a lot of people. So either they had a hiccup on that day or somebody flipped the wrong switch. It doesn't matter. But the removal, AO is talking about the removal. Let me come back to us here, of the fluoride. Oh my God, they better start mass producing a lot of new stuff in the supply chains right now. All these big corporations that are putting it in there, in your toothpaste and the water, where I don't even know where the hell else it's at. But yeah, so I'm with her. Every time I go to brush my teeth, it's kind of like, is there fluoride in here? Are they not putting it on the label? This is how my brain works. It's disgusting. It really is. Then I have to worry about all this little shit. I used to worry about, oh my God, my husband didn't roll the toothpaste roll the right way. Now I've got to look at everything and go, what the hell's in here?
Yeah. And then you get to the point where you start making your own toothpaste or powder. We do it.
Yeah.
We do it. It's oregano, baking soda, and cinnamon, because of it's alkaline, it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and it's not too bad once you get used to it, and it's really nice and gently abrasive. Once you get used to it, it's just a bit messy, the kids flick the brown stuff all over the place. But,
yeah, I just had Hula Hoop, who follows us on both these channels, sent me. She makes her own soap. She sent me a couple bars of soap, and I know how hard that woman works. But I think over the weekend I want to talk about the picture that she sent to me. It was an inlaid that she created. I didn't give enough credit to it because I was caught really by surprise when I opened it up. But I'm going to talk about all the things that she does and she's making. And man, I do have time on my hands. I should be making my own toothpaste and making all my own stuff. We started about a year ago switching, making our own food, stuff like that. But other than that, yeah. So what else is on your plate there to talk about?
I mean, I've covered the crypto. I've covered a lot of the EOs in general. I'm finding it very hard to put my phone down. And literally today, I dropped my phone and I broke my screen. So I had to rush around Dubai Mall and find the Apple store to get a new screen.
They have one?
They did. And I was very impressed. Within 2 hours, it was done. Within 2 hours, it was very, very efficient. Quite expensive, I have to say, but it was very efficient. And I think there's the energetic message, is to stop being on the phone quite so much, because it's almost, it is, no, let's face it, it's addictive knowing what's going on all the time.
Yeah, we have to, I'm with you on that one too. It's funny because I'll go in to the TV room. I'll see my husband. He's got the TV on, but he's looking at his phone. And I come into the room and I go, turn off the TV, put the phone down, And this is kind of like he knows I'm talking, but he doesn't know what I'm saying. Because if I'll say, "Hey, dinner is ready" or something like that, he'll walk out and go, "Did you cook anything for dinner?" And that's a typical man thing, but they only
Mm.
listen to hear what they want to hear. Sorry, but yeah, I mean, it's. I think we're so distracted that we're losing consciousness minute by minute, and it's because of these phones. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know what I read 5 minutes beforehand, right? So that's why I love X. I could bookmark everything, then go back and go, "Oh yeah, I remember what this was." It's crazy. It really is. Yeah, Joey G says, "Oh God, it is addictive." Yeah, so everybody right now, pick up your phone, throw it down on the ground, and break it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Christina had a laugh because she looks at the energetics of it straight away, and she's
So
like,
I was just going to go into one other thing here
mm,
with you. Let me bring this up. So I just want to repeat with anyone, if you don't watch Jimmy Dore, and I said this the other day, please go out and take a look at what all of these pardons were, these grants of clemency, and who he pardoned and stuff like that. Jimmy Dore has done a great job. I always watch him, catch him live, and he broke it down into 15-minute segments. You have to watch 3 or 4 of them to get the gist of it. I don't want to go through all this because I will do it on justice. His team, his producers, and everyone did an excellent job on this. And get yourself educated on all this stuff here. Let me just take this off of here and come back to you guys. Mayday says she doesn't even have a phone. Oh, just a computer issue. She sits at her computer at home. Yeah. Well, one of the things I'm wanting to do now, because you want to know what's really popular? Sitting in your chair and now doing exercises, because we don't remove our ass from anywhere. So now all these places, and people aren't going into the health clubs and they're not buying memberships. Now they have you doing chair exercises. Download those apps on your phone, on your TV, or whatever. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it.
well, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. That's for
I
sure.
know you still work out.
Yeah, and I've got to take it a bit easy on my shoulder, so I'm going to start to do more running or cycling or something because I was doing weights in the gym, and my poor shoulder from an injury from about 5 years ago is complaining. But there's some energetics in that, isn't it? It's the right hand side, weight of the world. I don't know. I've got to look into it, but it's been taking a long time.
Joey G says butt crunches while typing. All right, let's see here. So X is, who's ever following X, I know a lot of people don't. Try the all new. I think pronounce it Grok.
I say grok. I call
Grok.
him grok.
Okay, that sounds right. I have problems with my vowels. Yeah, definitely. So I guess there's been an update to it. I don't use it only because I don't want to get. And I know you use it a lot. I want to
Yeah, I do.
continue doing my own research.
Um, but it's so useful. Like when I was in the mall today, I can find out what shop in the mall has this product, rather than me trying to navigate a Dubai website. Or it's just really, I find it very useful. So if you like information and you like finding out things without navigating websites, just try.
Yeah. Yeah, Joey G says he uses it a lot, and Lori's wants to know if Joey G has a nice booty. Bottom.
Right. Here's a tweet. President Trump is considering abolishing the federal income tax, as per the New York Times. I'm sure we've heard the rumors of this.
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so I'm sharing this. It's by Officer Lou. Breaking: President Trump is considering abolishing the federal income tax. So, as I understand it, you guys, you've got state income tax and federal income tax, right? So I've
That's
seen
right.
things like move. You should move to a state that you don't have any state income tax. But
And that's
regardless,
what
you've
a
got
lot of people do in the States. They move around from state to state to avoid, like when you retire, you want your Social Security money that you worked really hard for, and you pay taxes on it. And then all of a sudden you move to that state, in the federal or the state, whichever, I think it's state, uh, maybe both, wants to tax the money that you've already been taxed on from working. It's just bullshit. But yeah, this is, we do move. A lot of people move for that reason. A lot of people don't.
so then if you've got federal income tax banned, then well then it's down to the individual states at that point, right? If they're gonna whether they're gonna keep income tax at a state level.
So I was just notified because I have a Rumble account. I've never made any money off of YouTube. I think my channels don't stay up long enough to make money. But Rumble has never. So let's say that I get, I don't know, $5 for all my videos that I put out there, and I'm not lying about the amount either. All the videos that we're even doing here today, I might get like maybe $75 at the most one month from them. Now they want you to start paying taxes on that. It used to be headquartered in Canada. They just moved it down to Florida. Now they're claiming that if you make over $600 a year, you have to claim it on your taxes and, I guess pay taxes on it. I'm going to wait because this is interesting. They're really pushing it. Rumble's really pushing it the last 2 to 3 weeks on there. Fill out this, I don't know what it is, a W-9 or something like that. Fill out this form, or if you don't fill it out, we won't pay you what you made. And if you don't fill it out, after a certain amount of time, you won't go live. So who owns Rumble?
Just think
BlackRock.
I just think it's more I think it's more squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and getting people fed up with how things currently are. There was that conversation about, oh, if the IRS wants to know about any payment over, was it over $600, yet they can't, the Pentagon can't account for however many billions or $1 trillion that's gone missing.
Exactly.
Wasn't
It
there
is.
wasn't there a hiring freeze on the IRS as well? That I saw that came out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wheels are in motion for that. For the
Yeah, it is. And that's why I think that they're pushing it. So every week I get this thing saying, you don't have to worry about it now. You're going to get all the paperwork, but you got to fill it out. And then they give you, it's almost like they're, you got your one arm behind your back saying, I really don't care. I want to wait until I see, I've got until April to file my taxes. I don't have to fill out a form with you because you'll get me right away. And then once I fill it out, I'm committing to it. So I'm going to wait until the 11th hour to see what has been signed off, what is law, what is not law. Facebook, people are advertising in that work that do taxes for you. This is a time of year. So our taxes are all due around April 15th. This is the time of year that all the vultures come out and are pushing their services to do the taxes for you. I saw something pop up on Facebook. I went out there and I said, people, don't do anything until we know the new laws that are going into place. I mean, if people aren't thinking and they're still in the reactive way, oh my God, I got to do my taxes. I got to get all my paperwork together. Stop, take a breath, and really listen to what's going on in the government, because it's all changing here in the United States. I don't know
Yeah.
about your country where you're at.
But just, I mean, okay, you must have seen some of the live footage about the IRS building. That it looks like it's abandoned. It looks like there's no one there.
Yes, and
So,
yes, and then he's also cutting. I think it was like 1,000 jobs of people that weren't aligned with his vision, right? And I don't know what all these 1,000 people, what part of the government that they interacted with, but that's what I'm saying. People wait. If the IRS, if the city of DC, and I won't, or Washington, I said Washington City. I heard Trump calling it Washington D.C.
so did I. Yeah.
last night. So a lot of people are saying it's Washington City. I don't know if it's legal yet, but why not wait until we know what's going on? Why jump the gun? In like you're saying, the buildings are empty. The people are being told to return back to work, and if they don't go back to work, they're out of a job. They're so used to, collecting a paycheck. So things are topsy turvy. We gotta wait until they get upright, right?
I think we're being given the opportunity to stand up. I think a lot of things have happened behind the scenes, but as humanity, as humans, we're being given the opportunity to stand up and say, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying that, or I am not playing that game, or I'm going to wait and see, or I'm just not going to be fear mongered into doing that paperwork." Yeah, because even if let's say that element of the deep state has been taken care of, we don't want it just handed on a platter, on a silver platter. People want the opportunity to be able to take a stand and to, even if it's something as simple as, well, I'm not going to fill that paperwork in. Why should
Yeah.
I?
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid to go against the government. And then there's people that are saying, I file all my stuff in this trash can here. And they probably never heard back from any of it. And then there's the ones that say, I tried to do that, but they still came after me. It all depends on your situation, people.
Mm.
If you really do owe the government, you really do have to pay them back. If you don't, if we don't know what the new laws are moving forward, let's just stand by and wait. Or you could do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to go and pay them now and say, hey, I got my taxes all done, that's great. But maybe you're paying for something that's not going to be in the tax law. Not only that, they have to update the tax, TurboTax, all this government stuff that are changing. They have to somehow update all this stuff. Even though there are taxes in the states, are last year's taxes were a year in the rearage, if you will. So people are saying, well, I still got to pay for last year's taxes when Biden was a resident, right? And so that's where it gets really confusing for people. They're not sure what to do. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's about. I'm glad that you're joining in on our government, and I think just probably more about our laws of our land than most Americans do.
Well, I got very interested um, when the last one was stolen. You know, that was I was very interested because I really thought we had. I couldn't have ever imagined 4 years of the Biden show.
I
I
want to ask you
understand.
one other. I want to ask you one other thing here about this particular gentleman. Actually, it's Stallone and John Voight that have been. They're basically set up as I want to call them ambassadors to Hollywood. Have you heard this?
Yeah. Hmm.
What are your thoughts on this? I think they've always been there. That's my thought. I think they've always been in place. How else will we know what they've been doing if somebody wasn't keeping an eye and an ear open, right?
Yeah. Again, it's hard to know because I've also seen hit pieces about, so Mel Gibson, for example. I've seen hit pieces about pretty much anyone that seems to have been doing any kind of good. I mean, the whole Sound of Freedom movie, the amount of information that came out about the creators of that or who financed that, it's so difficult to know who's who's good, who's bad. So it could be an exposure operation. It could be that these guys have been working behind the scenes to expose the bad guys doing bad things in Hollywood.
That's
I
exactly
don't
what.
know.
So this is coming from Donald J. Trump News. I don't know if that's just something that it's got a blue check mark. I don't know if it's legit, let's say, but it's to expose the pedos, human traffickers in Hollywood, including revealing the Epstein and Diddy list. I don't know if they're ever going to reveal that list. I think that a lot of people. I don't think we're going to ever know the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I think, yeah, it's hard to know as well because it's a very difficult conversation to have. Um, People that
Yeah.
go looking for the information will find information. I can't see that We all wanted to have the EBS and here's the list of bad guys. Here's the 30 seconds of execution per person. I don't know. I don't know how that information is going to be distributed. I mean, I know there's some accounts on Twitter, like the Real Dark Judge, for example. They say that a lot of stuff's going to be classified forever, or or for at least 100 years or some.
Well, Joey G's got a good point here. They can't hide the list forever. Yeah, everybody says you'll be surprised who's at this point. I'm not going to be surprised about anything. It's just like show us the list, show us the money, show us most of the stuff. If everybody is at a different level of consciousness right now, some will get it, some won't. What difference does it make if the ones that are brainwashed don't get it? They won't believe it anyway. So
But maybe we've had the list. This is the thing. We've seen lists, right? We've seen lists of all these Hollywood celebrities, but they just weren't official. Maybe that's the list, and that they can't just officially come out, or they've chosen to not officially come out because it's the people that aren't ready to hear it that can't hear it from official sources. So maybe we've had the list.
yeah,
So he's saying, Joey's saying, well, they can't hide the list forever, but maybe we got it ages ago, possibly, and maybe that's as good as it's going to get. They say, well, we've already told you.
Scott Baio read a list, and it sure seemed like everyone that was on that list was already exposed. So it was a Hollywood list. It wasn't the corporate or political people that were on it. It was just Hollywood. So you're right. Maybe we have been seeing it, but not knowing we've been seeing it, especially with corporations. There have been a lot of changes within the corporate world. A lot of people have been removed. A lot of people stepped down. A lot of people died. We really got to think this through. So the political thing we know politically who's still there and who's not there in my world of friends. So you're right. Maybe the list has already been revealed. Surprise, surprise.
Everything that you must have read Real Raw News, the parody site where they talk about various people being in the military. What's the
Let's see. Could I go there? Real Raw News. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Real Raw News. The trials. Sorry, the trials. I was struggling for the word there. The military trials, tribunals.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of very detailed about very famous politicians. And it's plausible deniability. There's very detailed explanations of what's been happening, but they say that it's just a parody. It's not real information. But that's plausible deniability, I think.
Yeah. Hey, Joey, we could talk about this on our Sunday show if you're available for Sunday, but I'll text you on that later. He says, I think there is more to the list. Heads would explode if people knew the whole truth. Again, I'm always going to stand my ground on it, is that people will get what they need to get, and I see things that other people don't see. And I'm now finally comfortable in my own skin to basically point out what I'm actually seeing and let people digest it or take it in or not take it in. But yeah, this will be very, very interesting. Oh yeah, so Colleen, do take a look at the lady that's reporting. Her name is Catherine Hedgick, I think it is, who's reporting from Gitmo. I was going to do a story on that. What do you got there?
Right. So this is parody, okay? So just so you don't get into any trouble on your channel. Michelle O or Michael Robinson goes to Gitmo by Michael Baxter, who's one of the Real Raw News authors, United Special Forces last week arrested the transsexual Michael Robinson, aka Michelle Obama, at the Harborview Hotel in Martha's Vineyard. So they'll go into quite a lot of detail. And there's quite a lot of detail with a lot of big hitting celebrities, political figures, and under the guise of it's parody. So they get around all the legal loopholes of distributing confidential information or anything that goes against the status quo, because there's a disclaimer on the website. This is all parody. This is parody. This is parody. So I think that's plausible deniability from the military, and that there's a lot of truth being disseminated as parody. Where have we seen that parody word before? There's lots of parodies. I think it's being used in a lot of places. So tarot readers disseminating information. How much more plausible deniable can you get than that? A tarot reader talking about geopolitics. Anyway, that's just something that I picked up years ago. I won't name any names, but
so this is what Colleen was talking about. If you want to know more, this woman, did you see this one, Lewis?
Yep.
She's going out there. She's doing a series, and there's a bunch of videos. I was trying to collect them all. I've been bookmarking them, but I showed this the other day. I'm just gonna. This is Catherine. I think her name is Hedricks. I could be wrong on that. She's talking about Camp Justice. She took a boat out there, which you got to only take a boat to get to Gitmo. They're building on it. She's saying it's one of the most mysterious things. Nobody knows about it. Everyone has talked about it in hindsight. Everybody is giving you their interpretation of what it is. She's there pointing it out to us, right? And so let me just see if I have anything else out there. I think this might be the same story out there. Everybody is really, even Stephen Baldwin, that actor, who I think is a little nuts. But
yeah.
he's done way too many drugs, boy. So if you guys get a chance, research this. She's going, or keep it in the back of your mind. There's her name. They just showed it there very quickly.
As the Trump administration.
I'm trying to find her name so that people can look her up. Maybe it was at the end. There it is. That's her name. So I want to do I want to follow her. I want to gather as much information, and I want to discuss this with everybody, because we don't know about Gitmo, Lewis.
And well, you actually have to subscribe, I believe. It's like $7 a month to her, on X.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
Tucker Carlson. How I found out about who she is. He interviewed her. She was another one that was kicked off of CBS News, most highest paid woman reporter. And so if you got to go and pay for a subscription, I don't do it. We shouldn't have to pay for information. I've been saying that for years.
It's sparked conversation. I could understand why they might want some of this information behind a paywall, because if there's going to be some sensitive information, that it shouldn't just be a completely shareable link. Can you imagine if it's executions? You don't really want that.
I can agree to disagree with you on that. Yeah. We want to know. They will only let her record as much as they're going to allow her to record. So I don't know. So we talk about an execution. Is it a needle in the arm? Is it a hanging? We were all told that they were going to hang the old-fashioned way, and that's how the military does it. I don't know if I buy into that. Now, a lot of states have taken back, and the United States have taken prisoners, and if they've done some really bad crimes, they just give them a needle and poison them. Right? They give them a vaccine. And they're gone. But I don't believe that we should have to pay for any of this information. I can agree to disagree with you on that one.
I'm not saying that that's how I think. I can see both sides. Yeah, I
Joey
can see
P
both
says
sides.
he subscribed to her. He can share. All right, Joey, you have to bring that information Sunday. I'm cheap.
We're coming for the Sunday execution extravaganza. Tune in.
Yeah, Mayday's the same way. I don't pay for any information. When I saw all those truthers out there saying, join my back channel, my pay-per-view channel, I was like, what the hell? And then their stuff would be put out there the following week. So you paid $7 a month, and then their stuff was out there because they wanted to get the clickbait. Talk about greed.
Well, I
Okay.
take a lot of pride knowing that I've never charged for the stuff that comes out of my mouth.
I know. I want to tell you that when we were doing a show together, I can't believe how time flies, Louis, but everybody wanted your music. They wanted, because it was in the time, in the moment, and I put the video behind it, and I was actually paying big bucks to create that video. I did it myself, but I had to find things, and I spent days doing that. It was too much, but it was beautiful because when people saw it and they heard your words to it, and it was at the timeline that it was the truth. I hope that you get some more songs kicked out, but you get them put out there that people can download them and pay for them, just like Daddy's Home, right? That rap with Roseanne Barr and Tom
Yeah.
McDonald. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Roseanne made money off of that, and she's not even a rapper.
Oh, there we go from Joey. He's going to share everything.
Beautiful.
I wonder
All right,
how
well, that's
long
all
before.
that I have, unless you have other stuff you wanted to go through.
Oh no, I'm good. I mean, I can chat all night about this kind of stuff. I mean, it is nighttime now. It's 9:15, so I'm going to go read to my children and get them into bed.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. We've had a good old chat today, and congratulations again, everyone. Keep the vibrations up, and it's super times, exciting
Yeah.
times for everyone.
Yeah, I hope we see you next week also. Lois, take care and safe travels or whatever it is that your plans are. We love you. Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.